Hi, this is Dr. Jonas Leibowitz, an endocrinologist with 30 years of experience, here to talk to you about the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge program with the introduction of Medicare coverage for weight loss medications that'll start July 1st of 2026. We're going to just go over some kind of exceptions to the rule, things that may come up that'll be a little bit tricky. And really, the review is over what to do about patients who have been on the medications beforehand. So there are two issues here. So the first issue has to do with other diagnoses that these medications may be appropriate for. So of the medications that will be available in the GLP-1 Medicare program, we have Wegovy pills and Wegovy injection, and we have Zepbound injection. All of the medications that are mentioned there are used for weight loss. They are not used for diabetes. So patients who have diabetes, who are taking the appropriate GLP-1 for diabetes, will not be affected by this rule, but it is expected that they would maintain on their diabetes medications and wouldn't switch over into the bridge program. The Medicare weight loss program is really meant for those who don't have any other diagnoses or other reasons to use these medications, and therefore it would be expected that they would stay on their diabetes medications. The second diagnosis of note is obstructive sleep apnea. And for patients with moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea, Zepbound is an FDA-approved medication. If a patient is on Zepbound for that diagnosis, it is expected that they would stay on the medication under that diagnosis and wouldn't switch over into the Bridge program, again, which is for patients who are seeking obesity medications for weight loss and maintenance of weight loss. The third disease that we're going to go over is metabolic liver disease with associated moderate or advanced fibrosis, F2 or F3 fibrosis, liver disease. And the Wegovy injection is indicated for those patients. So again, it would be anticipated that if patients are on Wegovy for that indication, they would stay on that and wouldn't shift into the Medicare Bridge program for weight loss and maintenance of weight. Now, what's interesting about that is that there's obviously a long and detailed overlap between the conditions that will be covered in the weight loss program and these three conditions, and patients will move into all of them. It seems from the early rules that if these patients have a diagnosis of sleep apnea, of liver fibrosis, or of course diabetes, that they should remain on the medications that are approved for those conditions and actually be prescribed the medications that are approved for those conditions, but not be in the Bridge program for the weight loss patients. Another issue that comes up would also have to do with patients who may have been on the medications before, would be that if the program starts July 1st of 2026, and let's say a patient has already been on one of the medications that's approved for the program, and they've had lost weight. Maybe their BMI was 37 or 38, and after half a year in the program, their BMI is now 33 or 34, and perhaps the patients wouldn't qualify because of that drop in BMI below the 35 threshold, and maybe they don't have another medical condition that will allow them to get that medication. The program talks about patients where they started. So where did that patient start when they started the medication? If the BMI met the criteria for the program before the program existed and they're on medications, they should be allowed to continue the medications. So the BMI when medications was started, even if it was before July 1st of 2026, will be the BMI that counts for this program. So that will open the door to some patients who may not meet the criteria because of successful use of these medications. And again, to review the four medications that'll be on the program will be a pill called Foundeo, a pill called Wegovy, an injection called Wegovy, and an injection called Zepbound.